Picture this, a couple sitting in their car after a long day. He's quiet, she's upset. She asks, "What's wrong?" He shrugs. She feels ignored, he feels unfairly accused. Why can one simple question spark a silent war? Deborah Tannen unravels these everyday misfires, showing us that men and women don't just talk differently, they live in distinct conversational worlds. What if your arguments are just cultural crashes waiting to be decoded? What if men and women grew up with different rules of the conversational game? Tannen shows these aren't flaws, but cultural friction that leads straight to misunderstanding. Sarah and Dan try to fix their dinner plans. Sarah worries about details. She asks questions expecting a shared decision. Dan, meanwhile, hears questions as challenges to his authority. They talk past each other until Sarah wonders if Dan even cares about her opinion. This real clash from the book shows how the same words mean different things in their heads. Imagine a sports arena. Men's conversations often mimic the competitive energy of a game, jabs, boasts, one-upmanship, but all in friendly combat. Tannen calls this report talk, where men establish status and independence. It's less about connection and more about positioning, like chess pieces on a social board, each move signaling strength. Contrast that with women's rapport talk, built on weaving threads that connect rather than compete. Women share personal stories, sympathize, and agree in conversation, creating a feel-good fabric of understanding. This isn't weakness but a powerful social glue, making their talk less about winning and more about belonging. When a woman shares a problem, she expects empathy. When a man hears a complaint, he might hear a challenge. This mismatch often explodes into needless arguments. Linda tells her husband about a frustrating day at work, hoping just to unload her feelings. But he jumps in quickly with advice and fixes, leaving Linda feeling unheard and alone. This moment from the book perfectly captures how women look for connection, while men aim to solve. Think of complaints as fire alarms. Women use them to signal emotional smoke, to draw attention, ask for understanding. But men, hearing alarms, rush to extinguish the fire, often missing that sometimes a fire's just a signal, not a call to action. This mismatch sets the stage for defensive shutdowns or escalating frustration. Tannen points out a profound truth. Men's default conversational tool is fixing, women's is empathizing. Neither is wrong or right, they're just different gears. When couples learn to switch gears, to stop offering solutions and just say, "I hear you," silence turns into deep understanding. If men and women have different conversational codes, how do they break through the noise and really get each other? Tannen doesn't just explain, she offers a bridge. Tannen shares couples who pause mid-argument to ask, "What do you really mean here?" This little question flips the script. Instead of battling words, partners decode motives and feelings behind statements. Sarah learns Dan's bluntness isn't coldness. Dan discovers Sarah's questions aren't accusations. It's like swapping a confusing map for a clearer one. She explains that certain phrases, like men's avoidance of "I'm sorry" or women's tendency for indirect requests, are conversational rituals, coded moves from different languages. Spotting rituals lets couples avoid taking offense when none's intended. It's like learning hello in another culture. The gesture stays the same, the meaning shifts. Here's the kicker: when couples adopt this awareness, their arguments can become moments of deepening rather than dividing. Instead of frustration, they find curiosity. A complaint transforms into an invitation to understand and grow. That's the real magic Tannen reveals, a way to turn everyday misunderstandings into relationship gold. Remember that car scene from the start? Now you see it differently. Those silent distances weren't stubbornness, they were misread signals across a gender gap. Next time you hear silence or tension, don't fill it with assumptions. Instead, try pausing and asking one simple question: "Help me understand." That alone can save a conversation and maybe even a relationship. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.